Of the Right Stand, I'm Anand Narsimhan and we are coming to you live from the CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Prime Time studio. First up, ladies and gentlemen, the Asian Development Bank or ADB has retained Bharat's gross domestic product or GDP growth forecast for financial year 25 at 7% as projected in its April outlook. Robust growth in industry driven by manufacturing and strong demand for construction led by housing and stronger than expected fiscal position of the central government could provide a further boost to growth is what the ADB had to say. Meanwhile, the state-owned Life Insurance Corporation or LIC has seen its shares surge, outperforming rivals like HDFC Life and ICICI Pru Life. The stock price was 620 rupees on July 18th of July 2023, and now it is at 1109 rupees. Clearly shows an 80% jump in shares in just a year, in 1 year. Bharat's exports remained resilient in the first quarter of the current fiscal, that is FY25, as core export goods such as drugs and pharmaceuticals, engineering goods, organic and inorganic chemicals and ready-made garments exhibited growth. Bharat's first overseas Jan Aushadhi Kendra was inaugurated by the External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar in Mauritius on Wednesday. Dr. Jaishankar inaugurated the Jan Aushadhi Kendra with Mauritius Prime Minister Pravind Kumar Jugnauth. Armenian troops have been spotted wearing Bharat-made helmet-mounted thermal imaging monoculars during an ongoing joint exercise with the United States. The images doing the rounds on social media show the Armenian soldiers wearing the thermal imaging monocular manufactured by Bengaluru-based Tonbo Imaging. And these sites are among the several defense-related equipment that Armenia has actually bought from Bharat to beef up its military after losing out in a war with Azerbaijan. Ladies and gentlemen, let's now move to story number one, and it's around Uttar Pradesh and the Kawar Yatra. The month of Shravan or Sawan is upon us, and there have been notifications that have been put out both in Muzaffarnagar and Saharanpur, the routes for the Kawar Yatra. Cops in Muzaffarnagar and Saharanpur have issued an advisory making it voluntary for eateries along with, mandatory for eateries along the Kawar Yatra route to display names of owners and proprietors. The Muzaffarnagar cops or police have said that the intention was to avoid any kind of religious discrimination. It was not to create any kind of religious discrimination, but to avoid any kind of confrontation or fracas. And this is to facilitate the devotees passing through Muzaffarnagar district and prevent any untoward situation. Muzaffarnagar and Saharanpur fall between Delhi and Haridwar along the Kawar Yatra route, and there have been significant instances the last time around where the yatris were realized that this was not definitely a place where they would have wanted to consume their meals because the name board said something and the owners or the real intent behind this entire was something else. Now, these were complaints that have been received. Let's try and get into it in greater detail in a bit. The Muzaffarnagar police defended the directive, saying that in the past such instances have come to light where some shopkeepers selling all types of food items on the Kawar Marg named their shops in such a way that it created confusion among the Kawariyas and created a law and order situation. The attempt was to prevent a law and order situation. What are the shop owners on the route saying? Let's listen.
जी पूरा मामला में तो पता नहीं, हमें तो बंगेला पुलिस चौकी आई थी जी, उन्होंने कहा, हमने कर लिया।
क्यों कहा कि पूछा?
ये कावड़ियों की वजह से है। जैसे कि कावड़ चलेगी तो उनको ये मालूम होना चाहिए कि ये दुकान किसकी है, हिंदू की है या मुसलमान की।
पहले भी कभी ऐसा हुआ है?
नहीं, पहले कभी ऐसा नहीं हुआ।
Now, slamming the Uttar Pradesh police, AIMIM chief and Hyderabad MP Asaduddin Owaisi likened the move to apartheid in South Africa and Judenboycott in Hitler's Germany. Samajwadi Party MP and President Akhilesh Yadav urged the court to take suo motu cognizance and investigate the intentions of the government behind an order and prevent such steps that spoil communal harmony. Congress also criticized the order, called it as an order that was nothing but state-sponsored bigotry. What is it? What is the need for putting out the real name of the shop? What is the intent behind this? Let's try and flip this question and say, why would someone want to conceal the ownership and what the real intent of the shop is and use a name which they perhaps would sell or attract customers? Don't the customers have the right to know, or don't they have the right to choose? Anila Singh, spokesperson of the BJP, with us. Pradeep Bhati, spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, is with us. And Dr. Anand Ranganathan, author, scientist and also political commentator, with us. Namaste and Jai Hind to everybody. Anila Singh, How would you respond to the opposition which is saying this is state-sponsored bigotry?
My Ram Ram to all, and let them say whatever they want to say. They are here to do the politics of appeasement. We are not. Because we have a government in Uttar Pradesh, it is the foremost duty of any responsible government to see that there is no sort of law and order situation. And if there are inputs, law and order situation can be created because of certain issues. Then it is the duty of police administration that they should check it out and they should come out to the conclusion that how it can be controlled. So when Muzaffarnagar police has very well said this thing that yes, because of certain issues, we have issued this order. We should have trust in them. We should have faith in them. I think no Muslim, no ordinary Muslim or Hindu, they don't want any sort of danga riots. So it is in their own good. But the political parties who are deep into appeasement, they are trying to make issue out of it. They are trying to make mountain out of mole. And the person who is saying that Hitler Shahi hai, aap kya ho? Ab Jinnah Shahi ho kya? So let the state government, let the state machinery work on it. Let them do their job and let the Muslims decide whether it is right or wrong. Who the hell they are? They simply want to create chaos. They want to put different ideas in the mind of Muslims that this particular government is against you. That is why such diktat has been issued. That is wrong. I think whatever step has been taken by the Muzaffarnagar police administration, it must be good for the people residing there.
Pradeep Bhati, your thoughts?
Thank you, Anand, and good evening to all. Firstly, I strongly object what Anila ji was saying, then hell, considering opposition as hell, which is strongly objectionable. We as a party, what we have seen that BJP dirty politics of discrimination, division and narrow-mindedness has already been rejected by the people of Uttar Pradesh in the last 2024 election. Still they want to follow the path of hate and intolerance. They are already set rules for food. They are in FSSI which constitute and specify that what is there in the food. What is the requirement of naming and individually being setting that who is the owner and what is his caste, what is his creed, what is religion. This is strongly objectionable. Rather than giving citizens employment, good education or better health facilities and following the path of development, that what we have done, Honorable Akhilesh Yadavji's government from 2012 to 17. Instead of that, they want people to involve in the discussing the petty politics of BJP. In reality, what they want us to deviate from the real issues, and which one we do not we will not divert, will get BJP to divert those issues like Agniveer, like the other issues, especially the issues related to farmers, the issues related to the common people, the issues related to paper leaks, the issues related to the there is a sad news coming up that one of the Agniveer has
Does the sentiment, let me ask you, does do you know the Pradeep Bhati ji, please?
These are the issues, real issues. And
okay, these are the real issues. So let me ask you this. Yes, point taken that there are real issues. So a Kawar Yatri's issue is not a real issue. Those who observe fast and undertake the Kawar Yatra, their astha is not an issue. It does not matter.
See, let's not mix up politics with the religion.
No, this order is only for the month of Shravan. No, this order. 1 minute. 1 minute, sir. Pradeep ji, just give me 10 seconds. Pradeep ji, just give me 10 seconds and you can respond. This order, sir, is only for the month of Shravan during the Kawar Yatra. So it's got nothing to do with anything else but the Kawar Yatra and the Kawar Yatris. So my question to you is, does the month of Shravan, those who observe the Shravan ka fast and the Shravan ka rituals, and those who undertake the Kawar Yatra, these Kawar Yatris, does their astha, does their sentiment matter? Should it matter or not matter?
See, Anand, you are mixing two things, religion with the politics. The first thing is that everyone who is in whichever way they are following their religion, their astha is highly respectful, and anyone and everyone who is involved in it should respect that. So don't mix up these two things.
No, no, I'm
These are
just
two
asking.
different things.
It has been
Second
done.
thing-
It has
second
been
thing.
done. It has been done. It has been done to prevent a law and order situation that occurred the last time around. Why did it occur the last time around? Is that not a fair question to ask?
See, Anand, there is a set rules in this country. There is an agency, the organization which is called SSI, which take care of what is there in the food.
No, no,
You
it's a-
cannot name.
no,
And
no, no,
third
no,
point,
no.
and third point.
Okay,
No.
okay.
Just a second, Anand.
Okay.
Just a second. Just a second. The third and most important point, whether it's for 1 day, 1 month, or 1 year, it hardly matters. If something wrong has been done, we will raise the issue.
Right.
And it should be raised by you also, because you cannot discriminate people on the basis of name, creed, caste, and religion.
Nobody should.
That is the most
Correct.
important point.
So,
And
but
that you have to understand that it's not a
if
matter
one
of
is not supposed to
month.
discriminate,
It is matter of one, even
if
of
one
day,
is not,
it will
one
raise
minute,
the
one
same
minute, Pradeep Patti, if one is not supposed to discriminate, so those who hide their identity and try and pose as somebody else, what are they doing?
See, hiding their identity, the food you have, because this was done.
Those
because
who-
you're consuming a food.
Why aren't you
right?
answering a
It is
simple
not-
question? If
See,
I
Anand, don't
hide,
mix up these two things. This
if
is
I
related
hide
to
and
food,
conceal
that
my
is
identity,
specified in the order.
if I hide and
in
conceal,
the briefing
1 minute,
of-
sir, 1 minute,
we
sir,
have seen
1 minute, sir,
of
1 minute, sir.
Muzaffarnagar,
My simple question, no,
I am
please,
not saying the
don't
video,
try,
but-
don't try. I heard you out, then you answer my question straightforward, sir.
Okay.
If I hide my identity, or I conceal, or I project myself as someone as I am not, am I being honest or am I being dishonest?
Where this point comes from, coming from.
I'll tell you where the point is coming from. Why don't you answer my question? Sir, I'm asking you a simple question. Sir, सीधे सवाल का सीधे जवाब. Why can't you give me a straight? No, Pradeep ji. Let me ask. You will not answer. Let me ask. Anila Singh. If I, no sir, you answer my, sir, I don't want to raise my voice. I asked a straightforward question. If I conceal my identity, sir, no, Pradeep Bhatti, this is unfair, sir. Pradeep Bhatti, this is unfair. I am asking you a straightforward question in yes or no. I am asking you a straightforward question, yes or no. I am saying, if I conceal my identity, sir, if I conceal my identity and project myself as someone else, am I being honest or dishonest? Am I being honest? Am I being honest or dishonest? Am I being honest or dishonest? Yes or no? Okay, you will not answer this question. Anila Singh, if I conceal my identity, if I project myself as somebody else, am I being honest or dishonest?
See, if you're going to ask Mr. Bhatti or his party,
I am asking you, ma'am, am I being honest or dishonest?
You're absolutely honest.
Am I honest if I conceal my identity?
Know about the identity of
No.
a person.
If I am asking you a simple question. If I conceal my identity or project myself as someone else, am I being honest or dishonest?
Dishonest. Of
Dishonest.
course.
Okay.
Dishonest.
Secondly, Dr. Ranganathan, you as a customer, should you or should you not have the right to choose? Whether somebody judges you as a bigot, whether somebody judges you as whatever, should you or should you not have the right to choose and the right to know where you are eating and what you are eating?
Absolutely. Anand, I've been waiting very patiently and I've heard the other two panelists. Can I please request the courtesy from the other two for 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes of uninterrupted time? Thank you very much. Look, the illogic and hypocrisy of those outraging is just mind-blowing. God knows, Anand, sometimes I want to hold them by their upper arms and shake them up like Ishar Kaka did Lakha in Lagan and say, "Arey, aise kaise galti ho gayi beta, dhyan laga." I think their doctor turned them over and jabbed them with an anti-vax vaccine. There is no other reason for it. First, let me tackle the illogic. So now the state is being guilt-tripped into not even asking company owners to disclose their name and not hide their true identity. Do these turnips even understand the law? The same people demand disclosure of who owns which Indian company, especially if they feel it's a shell company, and especially if they feel it belongs to Adani or Ambani. And here, they are asking the state to not follow the law of the land. Number two, the state is not banning or barring any person of any religious denomination from setting up a shop. All the state is doing is asking the shop owner to disclose his or her name. How on earth can that be wrong? ये कागज नहीं दिखाएंगे वाली लॉबी आ गई फिर से क्या यहाँ पे? Next क्या कहेंगे? एयरपोर्ट पे नाम मत दिखाओ, पासपोर्ट मत दिखाओ. Number 3. The fact is, it is a citizen's freedom of choice, Anand, as to which shop or restaurant or eatery he can visit. And a crucial part of exercising that choice is full disclosure on the part of the shop as to its ownership. Number 4, it is a fact that there have been multiple instances of unhygienic practices being followed by people of a particular religious denomination when it comes to food, for example, spitting. Under such circumstances, why shouldn't the customer know beforehand from whom he's going to buy food? Number 5, just 30 seconds. The shops have been set up principally for devotees, in particular Hindu devotees. Why shouldn't they have a choice to be able to buy from a shop that they are most comfortable with during the religious festival, particularly if they're vegetarians? Now let me come to the astonishing hypocrisy. Every single day, more than 1 billion Muslims eat meat only after the ritual of halal has been performed. The same people outraging today are fine with the fact that only a Muslim can undertake the ritual of halal. Is that not discrimination against people of other religious denomination? Talking of discrimination, it is ironic that Owaisi is objecting to this and calling it discrimination when he does not even consider Ahmadiyyas as Muslims. So that is not discrimination. But a state asking the law to be followed is finally 30 seconds. Let me turn to the more philosophical point, Anand. This is not part of my response to the topic, but I think it's important that this country is finally open to the following debate. Let us say I was a Jew. Would it be acceptable if I refuse services from a person who not only read Hitler's Mein Kampf every day, but also believed every word of it, imbibed it, extolled it? Similarly, if I was a polytheist or an atheist or a homosexual or an apostate, would it be acceptable if I refuse the services of a person who imbibed, extolled, preached and believed every word of a book that condemns the prescribed severe punishment or atheism, homosexuality and apostasy? So why is the first acceptable but the second not? If we want India to cherish freedom of thought, no question should be beyond asking or answering.
The point is that all 5-star hotels, the top 5-star hotels proudly display we serve only halal meat. At that time, they don't think that they're discriminating against those who are supposed to have jhatka or those who are mandated to have jhatka, but that halal is forced, but that is supposed to be respecting religious sentiment. And here, the Kawar Yatris through a particular route, if they say, please disclose your name and who you are so that the Kawar Yatris can choose and there is no fracas and there is no law and order situation and nobody feels disgruntled and that freedom of choice is excised, then it's a problem. So,
Anand, only one slight disagreement with you. It should not be just for this month. It should be in perpetuity.
My point is, sir, if somebody is calling their place Panditji or a Hindu name, but the person who owns this place is of a different religious denomination, what is the reason why that they are doing it? And why shouldn't they disclose it? And why shouldn't the person who's going there really know and let that person make the choice? That person can still go and choose to go and eat there. There's no problem. But the fact is, my question is, I'm flipping the question around and why are those people hiding or changing the names and putting a name which seems to be something but is not? Pradeep Bhati.
Anand, please have patience to, once you ask a question, please have patience to hear me out completely, because otherwise...
I won't interrupt you. Please go ahead.
It will be. Okay, thank you. First thing is that mixing two things, especially putting halal in this, halal in this. Halal is one thing which is certified by an organization. If you want something to be certified as Vrat Bhojan, Vrat Prasad or anything, you should go to the concerned organization and get it registered. Where this logic of coming that you have to bring some...
beg your pardon. I told you I won't interrupt you, but I have to interrupt you here, sir. Why? Based on your own argument just about 4.5 minutes ago, where you said that the food is approved by the FSSAI. The organization that certifies, that you claim certifies halal is not approved by the FSSAI. It's neither acknowledged by the government of India, nor is it acknowledged, nor is it an official governmental body. This is a random body which has taken the self-certification, but that is all right for you.
No, listen.
So where does the FSSAI argument go? Is the FSSAI, according to the FSSAI rules, sir, halal meat is not supposed to be, the abattoirs are not supposed to do halal.
Your point to come forward and on the top. Either you have that courtesy to hear the other person.
No, so I'm
What
just
I'm
saying that
is
your own
that-
argument is shifting goalposts. Your own
Okay,
argument
let
is
me
shifting
put my
goalposts. Please
argument.
complete. Sorry,
I will
please
not
complete.
I will not be what
Ji, please
Anand
complete.
is saying, right? So hear my argument. Who has stopped government from banning that thing? My point number one. Nobody is stopping that. Second thing, that's right that FSCI do not certify. Who is stopping government to put that thing in certify these
Because
things
people like
as
you
a
are endorsing
prashad
it, sir.
or as
People like you right now
Again,
endorsed it. Spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party on a national channel, national debate, endorsed an entity which is not certified by the government of India, saying this is a legitimate organization. Let it certify halal. Secondly, sir, those
See, what
abattoirs,
I am saying is, Anand,
have decided that they will
I
hire
think you
only
do not have
Muslims.
patience to
No, no,
actually, if
no,
you're calling someone, at least have patience to hear that. You want to
Please
put
complete.
your words in my mouth.
No, no,
and
sir. I am
want to
questioning
prove
your own.
point.
I am
That's the
questioning
only
your
thing.
own rationale,
So
sir. I'm
I'm
questioning
here
your
not
own
to
rationale,
debate
sir.
with you. I'm here to debate with Anilaji, right? So hear my argument and then ask question according to it. But do not have these kind of
What
don't
have
put
I said which
that
is
kind
out?
of
I have
gesture
used
where
your own
I have
argument
been
and I have asked
stopped
you the logic and
every
rationale,
30,
sir.
10 seconds, right? It's not good. You have
Okay,
heard
go ahead, please complete.
Mr. Anand also for 2-3 minutes, 4 minutes
Go ahead,
completely.
please
You
complete.
haven't said one thing. So either you have an let me
But
put my
Pradeep ji,
argument.
the
I'm
point
not
is,
here
sir,
to
that
debate
they have
with you,
spoken
right?
for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Anila ji has spoken for 2 minutes, but you and me have engaged for the last 11 minutes.
So
So
you are
and
stopping
then
me
still
anytime.
you
That's
believe
not
that
my
you have not
fault.
got enough
Anand,
talk
I am
time.
saying you are stopping me. That's not my fault. We have also organized these kind of yatras, events like Kumbh Mela. Honorable Akhilesh Yadav ji also organized a successful Kumbh Mela, and that too with the message of communal harmony and peace. Our senior most minister from minority committee, Ajahn Saab, was the made in charge.
No.
And it was
No.
even
Why are you
rewarded
being?
and
No.
awarded by
One minute, Pradeep ji.
organizations like
Pradeep
Howard.
ji. I take exception for you for this patronizing tone where you said that we organized Kumbh Mela with communal harmony. That means what? The Samajwadi Party government did a favor to the Hindus, saying that the Muslims will keep quiet when the Hindus go ahead and celebrate
Now
the Kumbh Mela.
these
No, sir. Look at the
arguments you can
patronizing
bring
tone
to
that
it.
you just used, sir.
Anand,
I
you
take
want to
exception to
bring
that,
these
sir.
arguments.
Where,
I am saying we
I
have
beg your
also
pardon.
done all
I
the
very
events.
respectfully
It's
take
not only
exception
Kumbh
to the
Mela,
tone in
whether
which you
it's
just
Eid,
said, sir.
whether
The
it's,
tone in which you just
Muharram
spoke,
or
as if you
don't
said,
judge my tone,
sir,
Anand.
because
You are not
that
here to
itself
judge
reflects the
someone with
attitude.
the
1
tone,
minute, sir. I just
right?
want to show you some
You are
pictures of
not
what happened
here
today.
to judge someone with the tone.
1 minute, sir. I
So
just
you
want
are
to
not into that
show you some
judgmental
evidence
position
today,
also.
sir. From
You are not
Saharanpur,
in that
and from
judgmental position that
Muzaffarnagar.
you
Can we
judge
have
me
those
from
pictures one by one,
my
please?
tone.
Can we have it here?
No,
Please?
don't do that.
Can we go full frame on it, please? Can we go? 1 minute, sir. Pradeep ji, please see this. Please see this, sir. Please see this, sir. Soon after the UP government's notice, sir, this is what has happened. Sir, you don't need to shout over me. You don't need to shout over me. I take exception to the tone that you adopted with the Kumbh Mela, as if you are saying that the Hindu community was done a favor by the Kumbh Mela being peacefully organized. No, sir, that's not the case. It is supposed to be organized peacefully, and it was done at a scale under Yogi Adityanath that has never been done before. So let's not. Okay, let's just move on. Pradeep ji, please. This is going nowhere, Pradeep ji. Just have a look at these pictures. Let us have a look at these pictures. Can we go full frame to this, sir? These are pictures. Yeah, okay. Now have a look at this. This is Shuddh Shakahari Bhojanalaya, and it was called Sangam. This is called Sangam, and that is still painted. But after the order, this has become Salim Shuddh Shakahari Bhojanalaya. My question remains, why wasn't it always Salim Shuddh Shakahari Bhojanalaya? Why was it called Sangam? And what was the intent of the person who's running the hotel to call it, like, have a look at this. This was Lucky Shuddh Shakahari Bhojanalaya. Why? And this name Gulshad has been added now. Why was it not Gulshad Shuddh Shakahari Bhojanalaya all along? Why? Next picture. We've got one more instance like this. Many of these. See, it says Lucky Shuddh Shakahari Bhojanalaya, the second one. On top it's written in English, Lucky Shuddh Shakahari Bhojanalaya, and then now with the order, it suddenly becomes Gulshad. See, look at the top. Everywhere it's Lucky Shuddh. Now after this, it's become Gulshad. Point is, why wasn't it always Gulshad? And why? And what was the intent behind that? Is that an unfair question to ask, Anila Singh? And secondly, the UP laws, Anila Singh,
Not at all.
Anila Singh,
Can I
the
clarify?
UP laws, the UP laws, the UP laws, they,
First
if
you
you want to
decide.
do this, man,
Anand, first you decide whether you want to put an agenda.
Anila Singh,
Or you want to hear
Anila Singh,
what the other-
1 minute, Pradeep ji, Anila Singh.
Haven't even heard
I have a few questions to the BJP also, ma'am. Please wait, sir. Anila Singh, yes.
Yeah. This tamasha happens in our nation only. The majority population is always being targeted by the minorities because they get support system from the political parties who are deep into appeasement. आज यहाँ पे प्रदीप भाटी जी बैठकर या फिर इनके खेड़ा या मित्रा या यादव जी ये बोलते हैं सुओ मोटो बोलते हैं, कोई बोलते हैं कि ब्लेटेंट इलीगल है, कोई कहते हैं स्टेट स्पॉन्सर्ड बैगेट्री है, ब्ला 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 ब्ला। हाँ जी, ये सरकार चलानी किसका काम है? योगी आदित्यनाथ जी का काम है। यहाँ के लॉ एंड ऑर्डर को किसको कंट्रोल करना है? यहाँ के पुलिस प्रशासन को करना है। दिस इज व्हाट दे आर डूइंग एंड वी विल कीप ऑन डूइंग सो।
No, let me ask you this.
Just allow me to complete here, please.
Yeah.
Just give me a moment.
No. I want to ask you.
You-
I want to ask you. Are you trying to say Gulshat cannot run a Shuddh Shakari Bhojanalaya? Are you trying to say a Salim cannot run a Shuddh Shakari Bhojanalaya? I have
Did
a
I say
problem
that?
when a Salim does not put it out there and say that I am running a Shuddh Shakari. I would like him to run it. I would go and eat it. I eat that. But you have a problem.
Did I say that? Did I say that? But the reality is they are hiding their identity. And because they have been
So then,
doing
is that
so,
not a
we
reflection
have
on why are they
lost
hiding?
the lives of
Is
many
that
of the
not a
girls
fair
because
question
they
to
were
ask? Why are they
dragged
hiding
by
their
these guys
identity?
who killed them, who hid
No,
their
why are they
identity.
hiding their
Sasa
identity?
Bante, Anil,
Please,
Sunil,
I've been
Munna,
asking-
One
Chunu,
second.
and
Anand ji, come
we
in.
lost the lives of Nikita, Neetu, Priya, Chanchal, Mansi, so many girls. Why so?
No.
क्यों होता है ये तमाशा यहाँ पर? इस देश में ही होता है।
No, I'm
Very unfortunate.
No. I'm also going to ask
Debate.
one minute. Don't
This
say
is very
unfortunate.
unfortunate the way you are
Don't say
dictating
unfortunate,
the
sir.
debate.
Don't say unfortunate, sir.
Why it is unfortunate? Because we are deep into appeasement
No,
politics. That
if
is
a
why.
similar
I have
situation,
every right to
will you
object.
have
That
the
is
same
just
reaction,
all
sir?
now.
This is purely for a Kawar Yatri. This is for a Kawar Yatri who is observing through the month of Shravan a rigorous ritual where they have to follow a certain discipline and certain diet and a certain ritual, certain rigor, and that rigor needs them to have a certain clarity in their head. Now, is it so wrong to respect that particular ritual and that rigor?
Can I say
Is that a problem? Anand Ranganathan had a problem and then I'll come to you,
10
Pradeep.
seconds,
Yes,
Anand?
Anand Ranganathan had a point to make and then I'll come to you, Pradeep.
Yes. Thank you. First of all, Anand, thank you for showing those pictures. It's a tough call, but next in line might be Ovesi, hurtling out God, Shande, Gotra, Shandilya, Pravar, Vashisht, Ved, Yadurved, Upved, Mityani, Mukh, Shrimukh, Kuldevta, Tapteshwari, Charan, Vam, before he's caught out by an exasperated sigh of Ya Allah. What are we seeing here? All the state has asked to be done is to disclose your identity, not conceal it for the benefit of the consumer and following the Indian law. It is just so bizarre that there's a gentleman out here on the panel who is objecting to Indian law being followed. Is his party Samajwadi Party? Does he go around asking for votes saying, please vote for a party that has no name? क्या चल रहा है यहाँ पे इस देश में? कौन है ये लोग? कहाँ से आते हैं?
No. See, there is a... Yes, Pradeep Bhatti. Yeah.
When you register an organization, whether it's a proprietary firm, partnership firm, or a company, you always disclose your name, identity, religion, and not religion, but all your details. Then, as you suggest, we should stop doing that and put our religion into it to be disclosed with all those details. Because if I want, this is CNN.
One minute. Anand Ranganathan.
This is CNN. Then it has to disclose that this belongs to this person. This organization is News 18, News Network 18. It has to be disclosed that it belongs to this person. That's what
It is
you are
being
saying.
disclosed right
And then
now.
you are trying to frame.
Are we on-
and you are,
are we on Fox
this
News?
is not
Are we on
lawful.
Fox
That's what
News?
I am saying.
No,
And if
sir.
you don't
Here,
understand,
let me just read out. Let me just read out
Then
what the
you-
Company Act
there is a
says.
problem
1
with-
minute, sir.
there is
Sir,
some-
you want to make an
there is some
argument?
problem
Please
then.
make a logical
What
argument.
I am
And if I
saying
question
is
your own logic,
to
don't get
register
upset.
that, you put a name.
Because I point out
It's
to the
your-
absence of one. Sir, with respect, I'm just telling you. Here, the Uttar Pradesh Dukan or Vanijya Adhishtan Niyamavali 1963 is silent on the aspect of clarity of the purpose of business, the name should not mislead. But the Companies Act, sir, says that the name should reflect the business activity. The name of the company should reflect the business activity of the company. It should not be vague or misleading. Now, this is for this is for company registration purpose. But when it comes to shops and establishment, should the shop and establishment be misleading? Should the person assume an identity which they are not, or deliberately attempt to conceal their identity? That's the question. If somebody is trying to conceal their identity, are they doing the right thing?
The same law you are talking about, whether it's a company act, it also states that if it is misleading, then the particular organization can take action also.
Correct.
As per the law.
So,
if it's misleading, who is stopping that?
But when the state administration says declare who you are, put your name out there, you are saying it is bigotry.
You got trapped.
But right now, you just said that the state government should take action.
If it's misleading.
Right now, you just said, right now, sir,
business you are doing.
Just now you said that the government and the authorities should take action. The authorities have taken the necessary action. They have said put the right name. Put the name.
You can ban an organization, even the person also.
सर यहाँ तो सिर्फ सही नाम लगाने के लिए बोला, आप बिगेटरी बोल रहे हैं, बैन लगा देंगे, दुकान बंद कर देंगे, आप बोलेंगे देखो ये तो तानाशाही होगी. You already called them Hitler just for saying declare your right name, don't mislead the Kawar Yatris. That's all they said.
Today you are not sounding logical. Let me say that because अगर उसने register किया है किसी company को और misleading है नाम से, business से, so वो action already automatically लिया जा सकता है same law के अंदर.
तो सर, अरे प्रदीप पाटिल जी, अच्छा प्रदीप पाटिल जी, थोड़ा सा एक अल्पविराम. Sir, Network 18, CNN News 18 is CNN News 18, sir. CNN News 18, sir, 1 minute, sir. CNN News 18 has a full disclosure of who we are. CNN News 18 has a full disclosure and is very proud of who we are, who we represent, which company owns us, who our principals are. Nothing is hidden, sir. In this case, the UP administration said, don't mislead, reveal. Don't mislead, reveal, and that too for the Kawar Yatris and in respect of their Astha, Anila Singh. So, respecting the Astha of the Kawar Yatris is respecting the sentiment of the Kawar Yatris is bigotry, Anila Singh?
According to them. But I need to understand one thing from Mr. Pradeep Bhati जी. प्रदीप भाटी जी, ये बताइए, अभी हाल फिलहाल में हमने देखा है उत्तर प्रदेश में कुछ डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में ये कहा गया है हिंदुस्तान में रहना है तो अल्लाह अकबर कहना है. What you have to say about that?
See, I'll tell you what. Anila Singh, I have, no, one minute. Anila Singh, क्यों हिंदुस्तान में रहना है तो जय श्री राम कहना नहीं कहा गया? No, हिंदुस्तान में रहना है तो जय श्री राम कहना नहीं कहा गया. बीजेपी के कार्यकर्ता ने ही कहा है. No. If you take exception to नहीं, हिंदुस्तान में रहना है तो अल्लाह अकबर कहना है. If you take exception to that, then you should take exception to anybody who says हिंदुस्तान में रहना है तो जय श्री राम कहना है. आप ये कहिए हिंदुस्तान में रहना है तो वंदे मातरम कहना है, जय हिंद कहना है, जय हिंदुस्तान कहना है, no problem. But when you associate and attach it with religion, don't take exception to somebody else attaching it with religion. And this is not about the religious aspect. It is about respecting the sentiment of somebody who's taking a Kawar Yatra, just like the respecting the sentiment of somebody who's taking out a Tazia or a Durga Puja rally or a Ganesh Yatra. Anything, we do it in our country. We respect the sentiment. That's the first part. Second part is don't mislead. Be honest and upfront and of who you are. Why are you trying to conceal your identity? Concealing your identity means that you have a problem. You're being dishonest somewhere, be it on Facebook or on the shop front or the shop face. That's the point, ma'am. Please don't. No. This Anila Singh, please let me. I'll be very clearly, ma'am. Don't have a problem with somebody's faith. You should have a problem with somebody trying to disrespect another person's faith, and in that process, please don't disrespect their faith. My humble suggestion to you.
Who is doing that?
No.
Who is doing that?
No. So why are you taking exception to some?
Whenever Hindu said कि ठीक है हिंदुस्तान में रहना है तो जय श्री राम कहना है. The way they attacked Hindus. Right from Owaisi to Yadav ji to Gandhi ji,
then don't be disparaging. Don't be disparaging in your tone. Don't be disparaging in your tone to Muslims also, ma'am.
Everybody personally attacked.
Don't be disparaging to. Don't be disparaging to your in your tone to Muslims also. There are a lot of Hindus who do service across communities. There are a lot of Muslims who do service across communities. There are a lot of Christians who do service across communities with the utmost respect to their faith or to the other faith and interfaith. That's the beauty of our country. There are other elements who are nefarious. There are elements like we caught that were caught in Noida the other day, who spit and then serve food. There are such elements too. Those elements need to be need to be removed. But in terms of full disclosure, if there should be a full disclosure if the meat served is halal or not, whether a particular place serves halal meat or not, or jhatka meat or not, there should be full disclosure to the Kawar Yatris and their sentiment that they should know where they are going to eat. That's all. They should know the real name of the place. And in our country, if people are having to conceal their names, then we have a problem as a society. Dr. Ranganathan, final word, have to wind up after that.
No, absolutely. As I said, this is a completely trumped up issue. And you look at the quotes that you are showing on, showing on one half of the screen. These are shocking hypocrites. This was called apartheid in South Africa, Hitler's Germany, Owaisi saying this. As I told you, the guy himself doesn't consider Ahmadiyas as Muslims. As I said, nobody has been barred or banned from setting up a shop. All Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai, all of them can set up a shop. So what's the issue? The state is saying follow the law of the land and disclose who the owner is. What is the problem there?
Whoever has a problem needs to introspect and say why is it that they have a problem and why are they taking objection. So that's where. No, sir. You are not understanding the tone that you adopted today, where you said we did Hindus a favor by conducting. No, sir. I have not been able to move past that statement of yours where you said that we conducted the Kumbh with communal harmony. Are you trying to say that you did a favor to those people who want to go for the Kumbh?
That's your interpretation.
You, sir.
I strongly object to that.
Good. Just like I object to the tone that you use, sir. I object to the manner in which you said it, sir. It was very patronizing. It was very, very patronizing. It was very, very patronizing. So, well, let's agree. Let's very respectfully agree to disagree. In this case, sir, if there are people and entities who are trying to conceal, then we have an issue. We have an issue. Okay.
5 seconds.
Yes, Dr. Ranganathan, I have to wind up. Yeah. I'm
yes,
going over.
Very simple question to my good friend Mr. Bhati. Mr. Bhati, can a non-Muslim perform halal?
Patanjali organization, Hindustan Unilever also were having.
He is not answering the question. He will not answer the question. That's the reason why, sir. That's the reason why. That's the reason why. Sir, you have backed on this show, sir. You have backed an organization which is not backed or certified by the government of India. You have not answered 4 questions that was asked straight away, and you have used a tone that has been patronizing, that has been in a way perhaps in terms of conducting the Kumbh. Anyway,
that's your agenda.
Anyway, no, sir. No, sir. My question to you is, sir, what is your actual agenda? And respectfully, let's agree to disagree on that, and I have to wind up on that note. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. We're going to take a very, very short break. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we turn the spotlight on to neighboring Bangladesh, where it's riots on the streets and it's students who are up at arms with the current government on the quota issue. It was a court order that said that 1971 war veterans of Bangladesh, their families should get 30% reservation. Are Indian students and Indian nationals safe in Bangladesh? Stay with us.
He has a medical problem. For CNN News 18, I'm Alistair D'Souza in Washington, D.C.
Thank you all so much for your patience and understanding. Regrettably, I was just on the phone with President Biden, and he shared his deep disappointment at not being able to join us this afternoon. The president has been at many events, as we all know, and he just tested positive for COVID. So, of course, we understand that he needs to take the precautions that have been recommended, and he did not obviously want to put anybody at risk. He said to tell my folks that we're not going to get rid of him that quickly. We're going to have a chance to hear from him in the future directly. He's just really sorry he couldn't be with us, and obviously we share that disappointment, but we've seen how COVID has still impacted many in our community still, and we understand that he needs to take the steps he needs to take to not just protect himself, but to protect all of us.
Back on, ladies and gentlemen, and thousands of students armed with sticks and rocks clashed with armed police in Dhaka on Thursday as the Bangladesh authorities cut some mobile and internet services to quell anti-quota protests that have killed at least 12 people through this week. The nationwide protests are the biggest since Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina was re-elected to a fourth term in office and are fueled by high unemployment among the youth, with nearly a fifth of the 170 million population out of work or education. Now, these are exclusive visuals of protests coming in from Dhaka in Bangladesh. 10 dead as student-police clashes rage over job quotas. We're also getting you some dramatic and exclusive visuals of cops firing tear gas to disperse stone-throwing students who blocked a highway at the southern port of Chittagong. We're also getting you more news coming through, ladies and gentlemen. Group Editor Security Manoj Kumar Gupta getting us some details, and also visuals where student wing of the ruling party Bangladesh Awami League hurled stones at the anti-quota protesters as they engaged in a clash at the Dhaka College area in Dhaka. Now, these inputs also show how Bangladesh quota protests have turned violent. Sources close to the anti-quota protesters say the government-backed group ambushing peaceful protests against the quota. Government-backed student groups, the Student League, actually ambushed the protests and violently attacked the student protesters. The student protesters wanted the proposed job quota scrapped. Student protesters wanted jobs as per merit, and the Bangladesh government has turned down the request to even engage in conversation or talks. Remember, in 2018, this quota was put on hold by Sheikh Hasina. But what happens is that the court overturned that hold and said that this must be implemented. This 30% quota must be implemented. It's a court verdict. After which, Sheikh Hasina has come out and made a statement that this will be followed through. Student protesters were actually targeted with sticks and rods, and they're protesting against the 30% job quota, and the quota is against families and children of 1971 war heroes. Sheikh Hasina referred to protesters as Razakars or traitors. And then there were visuals going around where these student protesters who were protesting against this quota decision were actually going around shouting, "I am a Razakar, I am a Razakar," not perhaps fully understanding who the Razakars were. They were the ones who sided with the Pakistanis and worked against the interests of the Bangladeshi independence movement. But just in that anger against Sheikh Hasina, they all wanted to shout that they are Razakars. Now, Indians are meanwhile under threat there is a threat to Bharatiya students and citizens alike with this flare-up in Bangladesh. The government leaving no stone unturned to ensure the safety of its students, but there is an advisory. Government sources telling CNN News 18 that they are in touch with the citizens in Dhaka and that they are assuring the best facilities for Indians. But there is a travel advisory issued that don't travel to Bangladesh now. Situation is worrying. Deaths have been reported, mega instances of violence, and the streets are littered with a lot of debris and the aftermath of violent clashes. Government will ensure safe evacuation in case the situation worsens. The government has also issued an advisory, like I said, don't travel to Bangladesh, and those who are in Bangladesh remain indoors. The situation being closely monitored. Sushant Sareen and Ambassador Rajiv Dogra with us this evening. Ambassador Rajiv Dogra, how would you see the situation? Because this is a long time pending demand. There are a huge number of people and families. It's the third generation, the grandchildren or grandchildren who will be eligible for these quotas. 3,000 jobs, 4 lakh applicants. These are Sarkari jobs. That's what the numbers point at. Your assessment of the situation in Bangladesh?
Well, Anand, you described it so well that there's no scope for further elaboration. But let me, with my background, try and assess what is really happening and why it should be happening now. The culprit is not Sheikh Hasina in this case directly, because it was a court verdict which restored the 30% quota for the sons and grandchildren of those who were part of Mukti Bahani or part of freedom struggle. Now, 30% is not the entire story. The entire reservation is 56% because it is also given to people from poor districts and so on. Now, this combined with the fact there are a couple of other things which are combined to make this so volatile, that Bangladesh, which is doing very well economically, is now on a slowdown mode. So jobs are reducing even in private sector. Second is BNP, which is training at the leash. It has been out of power for quite some time. So it is instigating the students or part of the student community. The third element in all this is ISI and the Islamist elements, which are always looking for an opportunity like this. So all these combined to make it a volatile situation, and it was not just Dhaka and Chittagong, but it is spread to various provincial towns. The problem in all this is there is a feeling in Bangladesh that Sheikh Hasina over the years has become authoritarian and is not willing to accept or accede to any opposition to her rule. So it does not remind us of what happened in March 71 when Pakistan Army went into hostels, killed, raped and so on the students, and that then the entire thing grew up. This time it is an internal situation. It can be brought under control. After all, it is not the government which restored this 30% quota for children and grandchildren of freedom fighters. It is a court order. But the only thing is when tempers are high, situation is volatile, and there is a ready mix of help from the political interests, then things become so much more difficult. So the hope should be that A, Hindus in Bangladesh are not targeted because they become another convenient target. B, that somehow the wise counsels prevail and situation is brought under control, because students have a genuine grievance. There is a paucity of employment opportunity. So some kind of a palliative has to be given to them. Only then can this movement calm down.
But this actually compounds problems for us, because we'll have greater amount of illegal immigrants or illegal infiltration into Bharat through the porous borders. We also have the safety of Bharatiya who are there, the safety of Hindus that you have already highlighted. And Sushant Sareen, clearly the opposition and their student wings are also getting into the thick of things and further vitiating the atmosphere.
Yeah, so Anand, you have to understand the people who are streaming into India, and this is utter nonsense that because Bangladesh's economy has been doing so well, there are no people coming into India. I think the Assam Chief Minister yesterday gave out some figures, and that's quite clear that it's a very unnatural growth, demographic change which has taken place in Assam, in the border districts of West Bengal, in many other places. So that is clearly happening, but these are not the educated university-going students who are actually fighting against the reservation system. That is one. Secondly, Anand, Ambassador Dogra is absolutely right. It was a court order and everything. But the problem is that when the courts are seen to be aligned to the ruling dispensation, then court orders are seen as a kind of a proxy of the desires of the ruling dispensation, and the fact that since the quotas are going to go to people who are aligned to Awami League, so there is a certain amount of outrage which is being expressed. Now, of course, one can argue that what are you outraging about 3,000 jobs, and what are jobs? These are not exactly the Bangladesh civil service or one of those kind of jobs. These are probably lower down the rung. So why would anybody really be agitated about those kind of jobs? There are better jobs available elsewhere, but then maybe some of those jobs are also contracting. So there is that conundrum. How do you solve that? The third thing is that the dilemma is that if, for example, as you very correctly said, that some kind of gesture will have to be made to cool temperatures down. The problem is that the moment you start making those gestures, the other side, tastes blood and feels that the government is on a weak wicket. So maybe we can push it further. So I think it's a kind of not exactly a very sanguine situation to be in Bangladesh. It is developing into a serious situation, and of course, if the political turmoil increases in Bangladesh, then there are repercussions for India's security, on a range of other issues. So it's a problem for us as well. But frankly speaking, I don't think there's much we can do about it, considering that Bangladesh
But
is
are you willing to buy quickly between you and Ambassador Rajiv Dogra, final two? I have 3 minutes, so we split it between the two of you. Are you willing to buy that these are spontaneous protests? We've seen protests are never spontaneous, be it in Sri Lanka, be it what they were organized in Bharat, or what's happening here. Are there other machinations here that we need to actually consider?
Anand, no protest is entirely spontaneous, and spontaneous protests also kind of peter out pretty fast. There are things which have been bubbling under the surface for some amount of time. Some of those are political, some are economic pressures, some are even religious and communal pressures, which have been building up over a period of time. And suddenly, there is a spark in the form of something like this, and things start flaring up. And of course, as Ambassador Dogra very correctly said, there are always agent provocators waiting in the wings who want to use something emotional, something which is, causing outrage, use something like that to, whip up the sentiment on the street and bring people out. So that also happens. But I think protests ultimately are starting because of certain pressures which are building up within the system, and those pressures have not been let off. We've seen some of it happen in India as well. There has been an element of orchestration, always, but there has also been an element of genuine kind of anger which has been building up and which has not been addressed, and then suddenly it bursts. And other people, of course, try and take advantage of the situation.
Yeah, because this has been going on for a while, Ambassador Rajiv Dogra. Are there those, suddenly if you have Bangladesh students, the current generation and perhaps the next generation of leaders, entrepreneurs, workforce, going out and saying, I'm a Razakar, Sheikh Hasina herself was a little appalled by it. There are many within the Bangladesh government who have come out and said, go back and read history. Do you even realize what are you saying? It's a derogatory term in Bangladesh because of those who sided with the enemy, those who sided with those and backed those. And the opposition is someone who's always been sympathetic. The history also is rife with the fact that they worked with in favor of the Pakistanis. They were against the independence movement.
Exactly. So that's the larger question which you raised, Anand, because if youngsters, I mean, firstly, Sheikh Hasina shouldn't have used the word Razakars against the students. But if youngsters are going out in the streets and saying that I am a Razakar, then it's a worrying situation not just for Bangladesh, but for India also. Why for the last so many years, now it's almost 50 plus years, that we participated in Bangladeshi people's struggle and the independence was possible for Bangladesh. But have we ever made effort to recall those incidents, to recall the trauma that Bangladeshis, Hindus, Muslims, and everyone went through? Had it been America, we would have had hundreds of films and so on about the role played by Americans. I don't want to replicate that kind of a propaganda, but we have to have some kind of a reminder so that people at large, not just those belonging to the Awami League party and their sympathizers, but people at large in Bangladesh, especially the succeeding generations, the younger generations, know what kind of torture, what kind of atrocities Pakistani army and Pakistan in general had inflicted on the eastern wing of Pakistan at that time.
Right.
So I think we are at fault in that respect, and also in the interests of Hindu community in Bangladesh. This reminder of India's role must, in some form or the other, should be available.
Yes, somewhere we have to be. Itihasa has to be a constant reminder and a constant lesson for everybody across the spectrum in the subcontinent, perhaps. Thank you very much, Sushant Sareen and Ambassador Rajiv Dogra. I've run out of time on this edition of the Right Stand. Stay with us. Brass Tacks with Dhaka up next.
US President Joe Biden has tested positive for COVID. His symptoms are said to be mild. 81-year-old Biden has been given a dose of Paxlovid, which is used to treat COVID. For the next few days, he will self-isolate at his home in Delaware. The White House says the US president is vaccinated and has taken his boosters. He has tested positive for COVID twice before. Let's run you through how the news broke. Biden attended a campaign event in the afternoon in Las Vegas, but then began suffering from a cold and a runny nose. He was expected to attend a second event in the evening in Vegas. A huge crowd, an audience waiting patiently for him. Half an hour, no Biden. 1 hour, no Biden. And then an hour and a half later, the audience heard the announcement Biden would not be coming. He was tested positive for COVID. Arrangements were quickly made to take Biden back home to the East Coast from Las Vegas, which is a 4.5-hour flight. As Biden's car arrived at Air Force One to fly him back, he gave reporters a thumbs up. Journalists asking him how he was feeling, he said, "Good. I feel good." Now, this is a huge setback for Biden amid an avalanche of bad news as he fights to keep his place as leader of the party. A positive COVID test could mean Biden could be out of commission on the campaign trail for maybe a week, even more. The COVID diagnosis comes on a day the political crisis for Biden deepened when one of the most high-profile Democrats, Adam Schiff, called for him to step aside. Now, if that wasn't enough, a new poll says 65% or 2/3 of Democrats think Biden should withdraw. and allow someone else to take his place in the 2024 race to the White House. The survey also says 70% of Americans feel that they are not confident that Biden had the mental capacity to be president. The survey was conducted by the Associated Press and a research organization at the University of Chicago. In an interview that released today, Biden told BET News he would only think about dropping out of the race if a doctor told him he has a medical problem. For CNN News 18, I'm Alistair D'Souza in Washington, D.C.
To CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Primetime Studio.
Good evening, this is Brass Tacks. I'm Zaka Jacob. We're coming to you live from the CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Primetime Studio. The district administration in Muzaffarnagar in Uttar Pradesh has come up with a diktat that all small shops, restaurants, eateries should display the name of the owner of the premises, in some instances even the workers in the premises, during the Kawar Yatra. Now, the Kawar Yatra is a religious pilgrimage. It's a procession undertaken by many young Hindus all the way from Haridwar to their native villages. It happens during what is called the Sawan months, or the monsoon months between July and August. Now, ostensibly, this is being done because the administration wants to make sure that the Kamadiyas, the ones who undertake this yatra, who keep a month-long fast and do the 250 plus kilometer long trek from Haridwar to their native villages, they are not conned into eating non-vegetarian food prepared at the hands of those who may not appreciate the beliefs of the Kawars. Now, while the